Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday video, the last one for January 2025. I'm going to be away for a few weeks, so I'm leaving you with a very interesting card today that I saw another demonstrator from the United States do. Her name is Rachel Tessman, and I'm going to demonstrate that today for you. We'll look at what I have down on my desk: paper pumpkin, the mini catalog, celebration, and I think that's all for the news from Stampin' Up. So let's go down to my desk. All right. My camera mount, I loosened it a little bit so it's not quite as creaky as it was last week, I don't think. I just hope it holds it in place. All right, here we are. You can see my desk. I have the mini catalog on my desk. If you haven't had a chance to look at it and you don't have a demonstrator in Canada, I'd be happy to get one to you. And along with the mini catalog is the celebration. It runs has been running all of January and ends the end of February. So you still have a chance to get some things out of there. All right, I'll put that to the side. This is the new paper pumpkin. You must subscribe by February the 10th if you're interested in this one called Hello Spring. And there's the coordinating dies that go with the first 3 months. So January had the heart die in it. February, which is the Hello Spring one, has this one. And I watched a video the other day for demonstrators, and this is cutting out chives, the stems of the chives. This is deceiving because they cut it out in green, but really it should be the color of the chive flower, which is that purple color. And then these are the 2 dies that will go with the March kit, a bumblebee and the honeycomb. The kit now, the add-on dies are, the number is 166237, and they are $16.50 if you're interested in those. Those are still available. I forgot to mention last week too, I hope everybody's checking the last chance and discontinued items, because there's lots of things still there and really great deals. All right, let's get started on this card. Rachel Tessman called this card an angled front backfold card. So if you know what a backfold card is, I'll share with you one that I did with my upline. This is not the card we're doing today, but it was like this. And because they're calling it backfold, you fold back this piece and open your card like this. So that's where the name backfold comes from. So that'll show you kind of the mechanism that we're working with today. All right, so I'll tell you what you need first. We need a card base. Mine is pecan pie, 5.5 by 8.5. No scoring yet. We're going to do the scoring together because it's a bit different. You're going to need another piece of the same color, 4.25 by 5.5, and I've embossed mine already with the timber embossing folder. I've got it right here. Yes, the timber embossing folder. I've done that already. And we are going to be cutting that, but again, we'll need the paper trimmer for it. All right, we need 2 pieces of cardstock in 2 different colors. And of course, depending on what you're using. Today, I'm using the Nests of Winter birds. I'm not really using the paper. I cut out some of the birds using the die that comes with that set. The Winterly Treetops. This is the die, and this is the paper, and you can cut these birds right out of there. This little guy was on the edge, and I never throw my edges away, so I still cut him out, and I'm going to use him on the inside of my card. Okay, so you can sort of see where my color scheme is coming from here. So this is Lost Lagoon, and this is Pool Party, I believe. Pretty sure it's Pool Party. Yep. Or is it Coastal Cabana? Now that's a good question. Coastal Cabana is the color that goes with this, but I'm thinking I chose Pool Party. I'll check that. Have all that in here. So let's have a look. Lost Lagoon is right there, and Pool Party, yes. I've got samples of all my colors in a little sampler here, and Lost Lagoon and Pool Party are right next to each other. So there we go. I was right when I said Pool Party. Okay, this Lost Lagoon piece is, let me see, this piece is 3 inches by 5 inches. and we're going to do some cutting with that. And this piece is 3.5 by 4.5. Sorry, 3.5 by 4.25. And this will be what I'm going to call the front piece when we're layering them together. All right, and then you need some die cut pieces, which I said to you already, I'm using the birds. And I've already stamped my inside piece. This piece is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, and that'll go on the inside. I have a small circle from Unbounded Love, I believe, those dies. I wanted a really small circle to fit these words, thinking of you. And these words come from Coffee with Friends. I wanted something quite small. And there's the dies, Unbounded Love dies, and that's the little round die I used. So I just want that to fit on the front, and I wanted it to be small. So I've used Coffee with Friends for my outside greeting. My inside greeting, I used Changing Leaves. A little note to brighten your day is right there. So I used that for the inside. Not using the Winterly Treetops stamps at all for this card. And I've got some twine, but we'll get into that when we get finishing up our card. Okay, let's start by doing the scoring of this main piece. So this is your main piece, 5.5 by 8.5. The 8.5 side at the top, I am going to extend my arm out so that we have, I want to stay on camera here. Okay, there we go. Just the scoring blade I want. We're going to score this with the long side at the top at 1 1/4. Just double checking to make sure I'm right. 1 1/4. So score that, and 2.5. Okay. All right, so I've got, and that's all the scoring we're going to do right now. We'll do some cutting on that other piece, but I'll just set that to the side. Now, how this is going to look is my backfold piece is going to be on the right-hand side with this card. It can be on the left-hand side. I will show you an alternate one that I made that way. I'm going to try it and do it this way. So what I need to do is take that 1 1/4 fold and fold it in. And I will use my bone folder for this to make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, so I'm folding that towards me. And then this 2.5 inch is your back fold piece. Okay, so that's sort of like the mechanism I was showing you on the other card. It folds back like that. Now, Rachel Tessman said she thought it was easiest to not score where you want your main fold to be in your card. She found it easier to meet these two edges together and just fold it on your own. So that's what we'll do. So I just put the two raw edges together there, and then she said anytime that she actually put the score line there, it didn't meet up very well. So I know I turned it the wrong way, but that's the way the card, and that is very, very much the same as this card that I just showed you. I think this back fold is a little narrower, but same mechanism. All right, so you've got that figured out. So we're going to score that, burnish the edge, and we can actually glue this fold down. So I think I will use my Stampin' Seal for that. And I'm just going to make sure that it gets down really well. So it just gets folded down like that. All right, so it's down and that is there. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. We're going to take our piece that I've already embossed. So the what did I say this was? 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we're going to have the 4 1/4 piece at the top. So we've got it like this, and we need it cut at the 1 1/4. So it's easier for me to cut the 1 1/4 going this way. So I'm going to do that. I just find it easier to hold this bigger piece. So now I am cutting it. So 1 1/4, sorry, and then you're left with this piece, which is 3. Let's hope that I did that right. Yes. Okay, so those are going to be put put onto our main cardstock piece, card base. So we can glue those on now too. So this piece is going to go here, and this piece is going to go here. And it doesn't really matter that they're, I didn't turn them around or anything. They are the way that the main piece was. It doesn't really matter, but I am going to put this on with Tombow liquid glue only because this is embossed, and I find that Tombow holds these pieces better with all the little nooks and crannies that are in your embossed pieces. So now I did turn that, didn't I? After I said it really doesn't matter, but that's the way it goes, okay? And then it's going on here exactly on the piece like that. So they fit perfectly, right? Should have my silicone mat here for gluing. Okay. And the other piece the same. I'm going to put it right on there. So it just goes right on the front. All right. Now, something I never mentioned, but I'm sure everybody knows this. Remember that you can pause this video. You can always go back if I'm going too fast or you didn't catch something that I demonstrated. You know, remember that part, that you can always go back. Okay. So I'm just going to lay this like this so that I can make sure it's down nice and flat. Okay, so there's our card base, all done. There's our backfold. Okay, this next part is a little bit tricky, but I figured you could get it. Now, I have the two pieces here, but I am going to demonstrate how she did this. This is an angle. So I have some scrap pieces that I played with. You're going to be gluing these pieces just on this piece. So let's open our card up. It's only going on this 1 1/4 inch piece. So I've got a scrap of paper to show you. So here's the 1 1/4 inch piece, which would be this. Okay, here's our back piece, and here's that pool party piece. I've already cut it. All right, so this back piece goes on first. What she did is she took her top right corner and she put it in the top right corner of this. And she just held it with her finger like this. Then she rotated this way until you can't see this corner any longer. You're going to go all the way to there. I'll just straighten that up. So now I can't see that blue anymore at all. So you're going to get this angled piece. And we're going to trim this off so you won't see this. So I'm going to show you again, and I can show you on here. I put it at the top right corner, and I rotate it till I can no longer see, sorry, can you see this? No longer see that brown on this case, and stop. So what I would do is, if I was gluing this on, is I would lift this off and I would just put some glue down the middle here. Not at the top corner here, not at the bottom corner here. Don't put it on this piece because you're cutting a lot of this off. So that's our first one. So, okay, here's my piece that I'm going to use for this one. Putting it in the top right corner, and I'm rotating it till I can no longer see the brown. About like that. Check my top corner, make sure it's right up there. That looks good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue like this. And right to the corner, right to the edge. Like that. All right, whoopsie. So let's do this again. Top right corner, and I'm rotating it down till I can't see that brown anymore. Whoop, the top moved, so good thing I've got liquid glue on here, and it goes like that. So there we have it. All right, now I am going to let it sit for a second. Oh, you can see I got a little glue there. That's okay. I'm going to trim this off. We're also going to be putting this other piece on in the same fashion. So I'm going to just put this top right corner up there matching, and I'm putting this right on the edge of the brown. So I think what I'm going to do is cut this so you can see what I've done. Okay, so I want it to meet up with that corner right there. So top right corner, like that, and it's going to meet right there. So you can see how they're interesting angles, is what I'm going to say. Now, what I found with this, once you got this cut, you could make yourself a template for this and keep that template. For this one, what I did was, it is actually cut in half. So I cut it in half and it would be laid like this. Just like that. And that's perfect. So it's a 3.5 by 4.25 inch rectangle. Just cut it and you've got your template right there. Okay. So I didn't do it with this one, but I can. But for intents and purposes here, I will do it the way Rachel did it. And she cut them afterwards. So that's what I need to know where I want to put my glue. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut this one off first so that I don't get confused. So I will just go along here. Remember that this is a folded edge, so you just need to be careful that you're not cutting your card base. Like that. So there's that, nice and flush, and we cut the bottom off already. Now this piece isn't half of this, so there's no point saving it. You could save it for something else, but not for this kind of a card. Okay, and now this one, because it's going to go like this, I think myself the easiest way for me is to take my trimmer and cut that. And then I would have the exact piece, and we don't have to be fiddling with the glue. Okay, so I want my corner to corner here. So these two corners are in your track. And when you're doing that, I always try to start in the middle of my cardstock then. Take my cutting blade and start in the middle. Because if you start at either corner, you might shred them. But they're just not as crisp then. Okay, there we go. All right. So now that makes it easy. It just goes like that. Okay, so we know what to glue. Now you're not going to, the only part you're not going to glue is this point right here. So I can put glue pretty much on the whole triangle here. Just not where my finger is. Okay. And we're going to lay it right flush with this edge. Just like that. Okay. That's the hardest part, getting those angles on there. So there's our back fold, okay? So that's what it kind of looks like. Now, let's get rid of all my pieces out of here. This piece is exactly the same. Of course, it's cardstock, so you can flip it over. It's exactly the same as this one. So I have a piece for another card if I choose. Okay, so that is the hardest part of this card. We can decorate our outside here. What I'm going to do with this is I'm taking those birds that I had, and because the branch ended like on a flat edge, I'm going to put them on there that way. I may put them on dimensionals, and I do like to give them a little bit of dimension myself by sort of rolling the paper a little bit, just so that they're not so flat when I put them down like that. So I'm going to set them like that, I think, and my greeting is here, thinking of you, and I thought I might just put it there. Now, I did bring some twine in. I have some linen thread, and I also have the copper clay that came in the Natural Tones linen thread, which goes with this Nests of Winter and Winterly Treetops. So I picked this color, and I thought I could put something behind this like that. I don't know that I like it now that I see it. So let's move our birds up a little bit. If I want anything on there or not, and I'm just wondering, maybe I might just see what this looks like behind it. Out of curiosity's sake, we'll just twist it like it was already tied. It's not, of course, and put it down like this and put this on top of it. I don't know if it needs anything. I really don't. A simple bow maybe underneath it. Just not feeling it. So I'm thinking maybe I will just put it there. I did bring in some embellishments. I have the Earth Tone Shimmer Gems. So there's copper clay, very vanilla crumb cake, and garden green on here. I wouldn't use the green, but the copper clay possibly. I do have pecan pie and clear dots. So pecan pie is this one that I used. And I also brought in these. These were on online ones that went with the Latte Love Sweet adhesive back swirl dots. And there are some of the brown in there. I kind of like those ones. So I'm thinking I might lean towards those. So maybe I won't put any kind of twine or anything underneath that. I don't really like the look of it. So we won't do that. We'll leave these ones out so that we can choose them. And we'll get these guys on. Find my dimensionals here. I'm going to put a dimensional behind each bird so it sort of sticks up. Be mindful that they might stick off your paper a little bit here, so don't get anything behind there. I'm not going to glue his tail or the berries, but I am going to glue this branch down. Okay, so I will take these backings off like that. And I will put some glue on the branch that's going to be attached there because I want it to lay flat on there. Okay. So just like that. And I think I kind of hate to hide that interesting angle. Now I'm thinking maybe I put the birds down here and put Thinking of You up here. I don't know. I don't know that I like that. Switch it around again. Okay, I'm going to put it here like that. So that part I've got glue on, and these ones I have dimensionals on. And the best, you just need to flip it over to make sure you don't have anything on your other side. Okay, that looks good. And then I think I'll put these up on this circle up on dimensionals, just a couple of dimensionals here. So this is an interesting fold, I think, something different. And I really like the way she did these angles. I thought very ingenious of her. Just really thinking outside the box there. So that's the front of our card, unless we're going to put some embellishments, which I think we will. I've got my take your pick tool here. And I'm thinking I will use these. These ones are copper clay, it says. No, sorry. These are pecan pie, which is the color of my card base. Just thinking, where do I want these? One there. They're all the same size, so I think I will just keep them on this part of our card. There we go. All right, so there's the front of our card. Now when we open it up, that's the inside. Now, I got thinking, do I want to be doing my writing on this piece or this piece? Well, this piece is very hard to do any writing on, even if you flipped it back, because all that bulk will be on the other side. So I'm thinking I'm going to put my white piece right here, and I cut another bird that was on the edge, and I'm going to put that bird right down there. So this will be the inside of our card. And of course you can do that any way you like. I'm not going to do anything to this side. So we'll get this bird glued down and add him to the inside piece on the edge. Just fits perfectly. Right up against the edge there. I think it'll really make the inside cohesive with our front. And it doesn't matter that that little guy got cut off, that little bird there. There we go. I think that looks really good. Then I'm going to glue that right into the inside. Oh, you'll notice that I stamped on this side. It was quite crooked. Didn't do the greatest job on the other side either, but I thought, oh, I'm not wasting the paper. So I'm going to go with this. It's not as noticeable as the other side. I'm just going to center this best I can here in the inside. And so then it's easy to write on this piece for whoever you're giving it to. But that's the inside of the card, and that's the outside of the card. What do you think? It went together quite quickly. Again, like I say, the tricky part would be this, but if you did it once and you cut yourself a template for that back piece, I think it would go together so much easier. Okay. I will show you the other card that I made with retired paper, as I always do. So this one I made the back fold on the left side. So this is the card. I'm sure you'll recognize this paper. The back fold is on this side, and you open the card this way. And this I thought was really cool. Rachel showed this in one of her cards, that she had half of the words on one side and half of the words on the other. Now again, I would be doing my writing, I think, on this piece. It would be just have to be mindful if you've got these embellishments and everything on here that it might impede your writing a little bit, so just be mindful of that. Again, I used a flower that was on the edge of my paper, and that's that card. So I think that one turned out really nice. And so you can see I've got the colors going here, similar colors. All of this is retired, the ribbon, the gems, and the card, the DSP, and everything else. All right, so those are our cards for today. I hope you enjoyed that. It is, Rachel called it a angled front, referring to this, angled front backfold card. So that's all the dimensions for this particular one will be under this video. So you can check it out there. And I think that turned out really nice. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, I'd appreciate a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I try to go on every Wednesday. However, I will be away for a few weeks, so I should be back for the end of February. I think the date is February 26th. I think February 26th. So I hope everybody has enjoyed these, and looking forward to seeing you again. Hope you have a good week.